Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. Still, so much of my mind is racing, and I want to start today's show off by asking, how should we react to this week one? And the way that I label it is, we have been deprived. We are hungry fans that realistically were not handed football the way that football fans were handed the sport in previous off seasons because of the way that they keep everything behind closed doors. So we finally got some sort of data and information on what this team is supposed to look like or what their ideas and beliefs are. Of course, concepts could change, and I really hope that something with Jonathan Gannon is going to change, because now that we got the snap counts of Jordan Davis and this dude stops the run, and you look at the way the Lions ran the ball and the way that Swift made things happen, you would think logically we have a first-round draft pick who took over games in Georgia, who is so monstrous that when he's standing next to other NFL players, he looks 400 pounds heavier and 7 feet taller. The guy can absolutely swallow you, and the numbers tell you that. Yet Nick Sirianni likes to look at us in the face during a media press conference on the day after press conference that we saw today, and he goes, yeah, there's no correlation with the numbers when Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave are out there compared to Jordan Davis. Please, we're not stupid. Please, we're not dumb. And I would like to think that the head coach and the defensive coordinator would see this and go, okay, something will change for week 2 when the Minnesota Vikings come to town, when Dalvin Cook can do some special stuff. But I don't know if I can rule out Jonathan Gannon doing the same thing again to try and be stubborn and show the world that he is some sort of genius. When you look at Nick Sirianni, though, and the fact that we're trying to figure this out, who is this team? We saw nothing, literally nothing, besides one drive in the preseason. From there, it was all kind of put away. And the reason I bring this up is I thought there was an interesting debate all show long today on The Fanatic. The best show ever. If you're not checking it out, absolutely make sure you do. 2 to 6 p.m. Tyrone Johnson, myself, Ricky Bowe, Jen Scordo, The Fanatic, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. It's a fantastic time. But it was pretty much a back and forth between us and some callers. What's right? Is it weird things happen week 1? So just be happy that you won, and from there, fix all of your issues? Because Jalen Hurts made it very clear in the locker room. This is not our standard, right? I mean, there is a standard, and while we won, and it's hard to win in this league, one of a billion cliches that he likes to throw around, although I think that might have been Brandon Graham who said that in the clip, or maybe it was Jalen Hurts. It doesn't really matter. I mean, we're not going to fight about if Jalen Hurts uses cliches or not with the rent is due. But with Jalen Hurts, he said that there's a whole nother level here. And everyone's aware of that. So for me to hold them accountable and demand more in the passing game, demand more in the defensive scheme, and demand more from the players, too. Like, I thought they played a big role in this. It's not just the DC, but dude, tackle. Now, for being objective here, I'm sure the Eagles knew that at times it would be sloppy, but they were weighing with the pros and the cons. Being healthy and being available, it will outweigh the fact that guys are going to miss some tackles and try and be soft out there. Not try and be soft, but it just happens inevitably because they're not as prepared as if they ran themselves into the ground and tackled hard. The Lions lost doing that. The Eagles won doing it. You can make the argument that their thought process panned out and it worked. I'm getting sidetracked with my point, though, and I feel my frustration with Jonathan Gannon maybe overpowered me a bit during my post-game show that we did right after the game was over. Maybe not, though. Maybe all my emotions were still in check properly elsewhere. And yes, there's something to be said about the fire being lit as soon as Gannon's name is referenced. This team is allowed to be criticized and point out what has to change while accepting the win and making it noticeable that it's important to start out 1-0, especially when the Giants win. Big balls Dable with his decision to go for 2. Carson Wentz throws a lot of touchdowns, but also counters with a ton of interceptions during that second frame before coming up large. And it's funny because I brought this up. What would the talking points be about the quarterback today if Carson Wentz was still here and he put that on display? I mean, let's be honest. We'd probably hate it and go, yo, dude. I mean, it's awesome that you helped the team win by the end, but how are you going to throw those style of interceptions? Just getting picked off, brutal. I mean, the ups and downs that he goes through and puts the fan base through is totally unacceptable. Typical. I've never seen so many highs and lows. Wow, the perfect example of the opposite. It's what's in town in Jalen Hurts. Both is true. The win is great, and they did some things that were awesome. And A.J. Brown and Miles Sanders and Hurts said, watch me, fellas. I'm going to help you out. I'm very critical of Jalen Hurts. And I was talking to Jeff Mosher today of Inside the Birds, and one of the things, because I talked about it this way. All right, when we saw the Rams and the Bills play for the first game of the season, and then we saw all the statistic afterwards about how they weren't blitzing and Matthew Stafford and just looking at quarterbacks against the blitz compared to when teams aren't blitzing, I thought the Lions, because they're so desperate and because it's Dan Campbell's style that he's trying to sell with this new life in Detroit, is let's just bite at their kneecaps, go, 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 send a ton of pressure. But sometimes it's not the greatest thing to do that. What happens when you play a team that says, okay, Jalen, beat us with your arm because you're talented with your legs. You're very good with your legs. You can really hurt us with your legs. Beat us with your arm consistently. I dare you. Because good teams are capable of doing that. And oh, by the way, some teams are built very strong up front with great secondary play and some strong linebackers. Point of bringing that up is they can beat you while just having standard pressure and not bringing extra bodies. It makes it that much more difficult. I'm not saying Hurts can't do it. I'm asking what happens when that is going to be what defensive coordinators do against the Eagles. I'm not ruling it out that he can respond. I'm not ruling him out that he can do some important things. And maybe he hits A.J. Brown again. What am I? And I'm saying I think that Jalen Hurts played a great game. I think he played well. He played very well. He was crucial. Third downs. He found ways to maximize his legs, and when there was a lot happening coming his way, he'd scramble. And those are back-breaking plays. And he contributed for a lot of yards and a lot of success. Thought he played well. And I'm rooting for the kid. I'm a supporter. I headed into the year going, I'm really looking forward to the growth because the way the kid is determined and the way that the kid loves the game and the way that he just approaches it. How can you not support someone like that? I'm not saying he can't achieve what we want him to. I'm saying I didn't necessarily see it all as much as I thought I would for week one. Jeff Mosher said this offense is going to be RPO heavy, bros. It's going to be 1-2 read and then I get out. And if that's the case, is there a ceiling on that style? Because you want to put Jalen Hurts in a spot where he has an opportunity to succeed. And letting him run is doing that. I just want to see, and it ended with 17 runs, but you have to remove some of those because of the kneel downs. So 14 runs for Jalen Hurts. I need to see 7. I need to cut that in half, taking way too many shots. And that could open up more in the passing game with Devontae Smith, with Dallas Goedert. I asked Jalen Hurts to make the simple plays and make the throws he's supposed to make. And let's see what an offense can do when that's the case. And there were a lot of the times that he did that. Dallas Goedert up the left sideline. A.J. Brown over the middle in stride so he can catch the football and continue his path, continue his lane, gain some more extra yards, run after the catch, excuse me. Tight window, left side of the field, did it. The dime with the 50-plus yarder, Barav did it. Like, there were just the nice throws. The Zach Pascal on the right side on 3rd and short, rolling to the right. Yeah, he threw it short to A.J. Brown. That could have been a touchdown. Didn't hurt you in this game. Will it hurt you in future spots? There's got to be touchdowns. I'm just saying, I have to throw it out there and wonder if it's a ceiling on the style of offense. It's not that I'm shutting it down saying the guy stinks, because I don't think that's the case. He's going to keep you involved and absolutely keep you engaged. And you could just see the way that he talks to the team. He's got a swagger about him that they love, and that locker room is all about. Jason Kelsey's like, yo, this dude bailed us out big time. And I think that's real. I also know that I'm just looking at both sides. Remember, I am a supporter of the man Jalen Hurts. I'm just looking at everything. Other quarterbacks, when blitzed, it's not like every quarterback has to go run. There's other ways to beat the blitz. Some pre-snap information can maybe help out. Some pre-snap decisions. If we're thinking about a quarterback taking strides and improving his game and taking next steps, those details matter. It's a big-time growing part of succeeding in this league, is pre-snap awareness. Not saying it didn't work on this particular game, because it did. And it was phenomenal. And he was hyping me up. Like, I was there like, fuck yes. Jalen, fuck yes. It was awesome. It's a tug-of-war match that I'm having with myself. Absolutely. I can't lie. You know, his completion percentage doesn't tell the full story. He's probably one of those people that you don't necessarily study the box score all the time, because I thought he made smart plays. Jalen doesn't turn the football over. Go right down south to Washington, D.C., and let me know how stressful it is when your quarterback is making bizarre decisions at times. Have at it. You can do whatever you want with the football. All right, you want it, take it from me. Some of these incompletes is him running to the sidelines and then getting it back to the line of scrimmage. So instead of it maybe being 2nd and 14, it's 2nd and 10. And now you're still able to move the chains and run an offense that works for you. Get a first down. Keep moving. Score. I just can't believe some of the things that I saw from the defense. It's funny, though, listening to C.J. Gardner-Johnson when he was walking back to the locker room. Him all happy, him all giddy, showing a little bit of his personality. And Lane Johnson's like, that shit was ugly. And then you hear Jason Kelsey talk about how the quarterback saved them and bailed them out. It's like, that's the type of leadership that's sensational. So winning this game was very big. And that's a huge piece to the puzzle, is getting off the ground. I just watched Geno Smith beat Russell Wilson. I watched Mike Tomlin be Mike Tomlin. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. I guess, is Mitch Trubisky better than the last version of Big Ben we saw? I don't know. I'm just saying. But I think I could win with Mike Tomlin as my coach. I saw one of the worst coaching days I've ever seen in my life with Hackett. So getting a win, big. Baker Mayfield thought he had the win. No, he didn't. The Cleveland Browns. Other teams thought they were going to win, but they didn't because their kickers stink. So be proud that they won. Oh, for sure. For sure. I just don't like this narrative that you're not allowed to kind of analyze, because we want to know how this team could reach a certain goal. Well, let's look at what they did game 1 and know that by week 3, week 4, week 5, things change. Hopefully they make adjustments in one specific area of the football team that I'm completely worried about. Day in and day out, they're going to work. Day in and day out, they're going to adjust and see how they can incorporate more things. But it's almost like we were told by some fans today that I'm not allowed to have any sort of opinion on the game. And all I should do is throw everything away. Who cares? Put it in the trash, delete the film, light it on fire, set it on fire, and let's see what Minnesota can provide just from a X's and O's standpoint next week on Monday Night Football in our barn in South Philadelphia at the link where that place is going to be bonkers. To me, that's foolish, though. Why can't we do both? Why can't we appreciate, and then it's not nitpicking, but study and dissect. What can we do to be better? That's all. That's all we did. So what can we do to be better? Well, let's utilize Jordan Davis more, dude. Please. I mean, how dumb can you be? How stupid can you be to not play someone who's a generational talent? And let's say he doesn't even get the pressure because it's about run stuffing. And I guess in theory, I'll say this about JG. In theory, Fletcher Cox and Hargrave. And Hargrave was awesome in the beginning of last season. So there's something to be said about giving him a longer leash. Because at one point, he was one of the best linemen in football. That's how aggressive he was. Playmaking. Consistently. The Lions had to throw the ball to get back in the game, in theory. So putting certain players out there, does it make sense? Maybe. Honestly, maybe. But Jordan Davis, there were so many other defensive players that were getting more time than him. And I don't know what would make you feel that usage isn't important. And let's say just his body and his presence eat up linemen. And now Brandon Graham has more space. Now someone else like Josh Sweat can get to the quarterback. But instead, they're dropping him back. Hassan Reddick getting dropped back. Come on. Okay, this is where I'll give them credit on the Jalen Hurts thing. What are they doing? They're looking at his strengths, and then they're using him because of that. Or they're using this offense because of that. So they're maximizing what he does well. Let me know if dropping Josh Sweat back is using his strengths. Unless I'm missing something. It's crazy. It really is. All right, anytime hotline calls? Yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot to get to from the night of. I'm just looking over some notes here. Sanders, I mean, it's crazy how well he did. A lot of question marks about who he was heading into the year. Was he soft? What's wrong with the hamstring? He's talking a lot of smack. He's always going back and forth with fans. You know how it is with him. That was the best version of Miles Sanders that I have seen in a long, long time. Just thought he played a hard, tough way. Like, I remember watching him go on one of his runs where his speed really shows once his motor's rolling. But it was like the sea parted, and the offensive line created it, and it's like, dude, here. It's the sea opening. Go for it. But I thought in this game, he kind of made that himself at times. Like he's bouncing off the line of scrimmage, finding a gap, finding space, and then forcing players to really have to earn tackling him. It's a different brand of Miles Sanders running. He looked hungry. The question is, will he hold up? Because that style of Miles Sanders takes this team in the running game to a whole nother level than I already thought that they were going to be good at. And their red zone presence, lethal. Lethal. And credit to Jalen Hurts for that. Come on, man. There's so many weapons. So many. And Jalen Hurts, capable of moving the legs the way he does in churning? Come on. It's almost a lock that you're going to punch it in for 7. Especially once this offensive line starts to click. So I just want to make sure that hat tip extends even longer. And the standing ovation for Miles Sanders just gets another gold star. And AJ, I'll have my days to salivate over AJ Brown even more for what he's doing on the field. Every single week we watch Red Zone, right? At some point, you check in on the other teams, and you see Justin Jefferson. And you watch Devontae Adams with Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers, and that doesn't look the same right now, I'll tell you that for free. But just the way that it's like, okay, if you put it in the area 90% of the time, it's golden. I'm being obnoxious with that number, but we always use the term 50-50 ball when it's a one-on-one coverage. It's probably more than that. Is it 70-30, 65-45? Teams are going to have to start focusing more on him. So, is Devontae Smith going to get the ball? Is Quez Watkins available and open because you forget about him? Other teams will make it more difficult. I'm interested in the response. From Nick Sirianni to everybody else. Because Minnesota will make you look silly. There's enough talent there. Special teams. If Jalen Reagor was still here, you definitely would have seen disastrous plays. When Covey caught the ball, and I believe it was Quez Watkins who was running back towards him, and there was a bit of some body contact, just the fact that you had someone who isn't very established, but looks comfortable doing it now. Like it looked like a real guy who felt confident every time the ball was in the air. Didn't get the uh-ohs, didn't get the worries, didn't get the nerves. I got a job. Let me catch the ball. If I could do more with it, that would be great. Let me execute the fundamentals here in this category. And that changes so much. Think about it. Jalen Reagor going back 10 yards. Jalen Reagor running the wrong way. Ay, 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 ay. Anyway, Nick Sirianni, my last thing before we get to the Anytime Hotline. He's letting you know exactly what they're going to do by the first play being a designed run. You guys thought we'd have everyone spread out and it's just going to be Jalen throwing dots all day? You thought this offense was going to progress to the point where Jalen Hurts is just, I don't know, maybe running a traditional offense? Nope. He's still going to run. There's still going to be a ton of RPOs, and our offense is going to be predicated with this life, whether you like it or not. That's what Sirianni said with that first play. All right. We'll see what that means. I have no idea what it means in regards to the cap and the ceiling of it, but we'll see. All right. The Anytime Hotline. Hearing from you, text messages, phone calls about the game. Let's kick it off.
Hey, Broads, I totally agree with you. I mean, their first outing, I can understand. You got a little butterflies, this and that. But, I mean, it was a total disappointment. I mean, these guys here, I mean, the way they are on paper and this and that, they should be a lot better than what they are. Defense showed no pressure at all. The offense, I mean, now we're making mistakes. You can't get up to the line and get the play done and this and that. So now you either blame that on the coaches or is it the players themselves? So, I mean, for the clientele that they have, they got to do a hell of a lot better. I was expecting a lot more, and they didn't show it today at all. Shame on them.
Well, it's not that they didn't show it at all. They did show it in bunches. They showed it in pieces. There was a sequence from the first quarter until 5 minutes before the first half ended where they were constantly forcing 3 and outs, right? So that just shows you, one, that there is something to it, but then, number two, how putrid it really was for the Lions to come back the way that they did when you dominated defensively for so long, basically the entire first half outside of the first drive, and then 5 minutes prior to the first half ending. So, I thought that was a little harsh and a little extreme, but yeah, I mean that there's a lot more in the tank, but I expect them to make the switches needed. I do. By the way, there's some news on Barnett today. Derek Barnett is going to be done for the season with an ACL tear. It looks like Jackson is going to be the one that gets the opportunity from here. I feel bad for Derek Barnett. I never want to see anybody get injured. I didn't expect it to be that brutal. When I saw Adam Schefter tweet that out earlier, I'm like, wow, really? I mean, I saw him go down, of course, and we watched it happen, but did it seem like tear of an ACL? I mean, my jaw kind of dropped a bit. It's a body. So from that level, it matters. I don't think it's a game-changing body, but it's a body. It's more damaging if something is to happen to another lineman, and then you start to go, uh-oh. Sort of like what happened with the Phillies bullpen. Corey Knebel getting hurt, it definitely stung, but then once Sirianni got hurt, now it's more by, whoa. What once was our strength because of depth now became a little bit of a worry. And I'm still referencing the Phillies bullpen. Now with the defensive line, it's more about what happens with one more going down. I would hope for this to be more of a strength of the defense, but you might have to go younger. You might have to see more youth. Now, Jackson's 24, so there's youth there. There's youth with Milton. There's youth with Jordan Davis. But maybe the answer is Fletcher's getting old, man. Fletcher's played a lot of football. Sometimes father time just wins. Kerrigan dropped off at an age in that early 30 range. Guys hit a wall. There's nothing you can do about it after so much great football. Once again, I'm not telling you that happened. I'm asking if it did. We'll find out. I'm not ruling out that Fletcher Cox has big moments. I'm not ruling out that Fletcher Cox can still play. But it's just something that's on the table. That's all. In regards to the penalties, though, I know the caller brought up the penalties. They're all fixable. They had penalty problems before. Having 12 men in the huddle, things like that. That's not something that I expect. It goes back to the training camp stuff. They valued health over those details. Same with the fatigueness. Like that stuff happens early on. Probably with just the lackadaisical training camps in general. Those things happen. And they happen when you practice hard, too. The Lions had penalties. They had 12 men out there at one point also. So that's not a long-term problem for me. Last year, Nick Sirianni showed that it could be ugly, and there's probably going to be hideous times, but when it's more of a, yo, fellas, clean that garbage up, they responded well last year. All right, here's some text messages. Justin says, should Devontae be mad, and will the target attempts change? Should he be mad? Mad from a competitor standpoint, not actually mad. Mad because he wants to have 100 yards, but not really mad because the team won. And welcome to having a number one wide receiver that could take over games. And Devontae probably values himself as one of those wide receivers too, but I think he's fully aware of, one, how A.J. Brown even talked to him after, like, yo, your time comes, man. You just got to keep going, keep putting your head down, and keep working, and the ball finds you in this game. There's going to be nights where it's my night. There's going to be nights where it's your night. There's going to be nights where it's Dallas Goedert's night. You just got to keep making sure that you're ready for the moment whenever that time comes. So should he be mad? Just from a competitor standpoint, that's all. And I say that in a healthy way, not actually mad by any means. Will I expect it to change? Yeah, I think it changes just naturally with more games played, and the attention that other teams are going to put on AJ is going to open up more of the field for other wide receivers too. Gus wants to know, Gus sent a lot, so I'm just summarizing his with just one quick question. Broads, can you rank Jalen Hurts for me and Kaiser White? I thought Kaiser White looked good, man. I think he actually looks like a damn good linebacker, and it's just weird because we don't see that. So while I'm watching Alex Singleton play on Monday Night Football, I'm watching Kaiser White get into traffic and bat the ball up for Bradbury to make a nice catch and take it to the house. Kaiser White's legit. Kaiser White's a baller, man. He's a real linebacker. But rank Jalen Hurts for me? B+. Thought he had a B+. B+ day. B+ day. There were some mature things that happened out there. And, I thought his attitude in the game was good. He seemed hungry too. He always says, I don't hear the noise, I don't hear the noise. And maybe Nick Saban really did teach him up all the way perfectly. But damn it, I think he hears the noise. I do. I think he hears the noise. But Hurts is the type of guy that knows how to bottle it. It's just will the play on the field match it over the long haul. I want to thank everybody so much for hanging out with me Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you so much. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate all that support. SeatGeek promo code BROADS gets you $20 off of your purchase, so get yourself to a game today. It's a no-brainer. That eliminates those fees. It eliminates all that stuff. You can use that for free parking, really, if you look at it that way, or booze inside the stadiums, whether Phillies game, the Eagles. Come on, go to that home opener. $20 off from me to you. Promo code BROADS. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I will catch you on the next one.